Hi everyone, thanks for joining in. So I'm thinking of this as a kind of state of the App Store talk, and what I'm going to do today is survey what I consider to be the must-have downloads for the iPhone and for the iPod Touch, taking a look at what I consider to be the best apps out there, the must-haves. And as we go, I'm also going to try to highlight how I think the iPhone is changing the way that we all actually relate to information and computing, and sort of looking at not just sort of my best picks for apps, but also how they fit into our lives and this sort of new mobile landscape that the iPhone is contributing so strongly to. Let me quickly say what this talk isn't. It's not a talk to developers. Some of the comments I saw in the registration suggested that some of you are looking for tips about building or coding apps, and that's not what this is. This is really aimed at mainstream iPhone users, including newcomers, who just want to know the apps that will, make your iPhone rock. Because as it turns out, it's really hard to find apps. In the 15 months or so since the App Store opened, we've got now somewhere close to 80,000 apps in the App Store. And since about half of them are exclusively designed to belch out a variety of bodily noises, finding apps, at least finding the best apps, can be somewhat daunting. I know lots of people who love their iPhone but find the prospect of digging through the App Store completely paralyzing. And so what I did with my book, Best iPhone Apps, is to try to pick over 200 apps and say, look, these are good. These are the best apps for a range of tasks: managing to-do lists, finding recipes, following the market, using a flight simulator, you name it. And so we're going to go through a bunch of those today. Before I do that, though, let me just mention a few things that I think make for a great app. First of all, and as Catherine said, we're going to be doing some voting. So I'll tell you what my top picks are, and then you can vote on those, and as a group we'll sort of figure out which ones you like best of these apps that I present today. And so keep in mind some of these things. I've found that some of the best apps are really the most simple, really focused on a very specific task. And so whether you're playing a game or jotting a note, you're on the go when you're using the iPhone. And what you need is an efficient interface and an efficient mission, if you will, to the software. So less is more here. The more features or the more razzle-dazzle, the more you actually feel like an app is getting in your way instead of helping you do what you want to do. So the best apps keep it simple and actually do less to help you do more. At the same time, I think we all probably agree that there has to be a certain amount of design and maybe even adorability to the best apps. I think we've perhaps all been a little bit surprised by the personal attachment we've developed to our iPhones. And somehow the apps that you put on your iPhone say something about you. It's kind of like the stuff you carry in your bag or what you might put on your walls to decorate your home. There's a certain style that's required. But most important of all, I think that the best apps satisfy one of three states of mind. And I think that the iPhone is really uniquely able to scratch an itch when, one, I'm bored. I've got some downtime to kill. Two, I'm local. And what I mean by that is that I've got I need some info that's specific to the right here and right now of my personal situation. It's really local information in terms of both a place, but also in terms of time and task. And the third one is I'm tasking. And by that, it's sort of a clumsy word, tasking, but by that I mean working, really. But really micro work, sort of dashes of individual tasks, and I'll get into more of that in a bit. The first, here's the really cool thing about the phone, right? It's always with you. You've got a computer in your pocket all the time. And that means that you're able to use it to reclaim downtime, sort of no matter where you are. If you're in line at the post office, waiting for a plane, you're at the grocery store, there are just tons of great iPhone apps for filling those lost moments, sort of making use of stray minutes. I'm not going to talk about games today, although there's zillions of them, and the iPhone is a great game platform, and my book recommends a lot of them. I'm going to angle for a few more of the productive and creative ways to use your time when you're bored. I'm going to start with reading. I've always been a paper guy. I never really thought I'd go for ebooks, but the iPhone really changed that for me. And Stanza, the app that I've chosen as the best app for reading books on your iPhone, it's really the king of the book readers, and it offers a pretty terrific reading experience. Now, it's not going to replace your paperback, and you probably don't want to spend hours and hours on end reading on your iPhone. But again, it's great to fill in 10 minutes of downtime with the pages of your current novel. Keep the paper version on your bedside table, and read the ebook when you're out and about. So here you can see that that Stanza shows the books in your collection. You just tap one to start reading. Here you can see Dracula, and you can adjust the font size and the color, the font itself. Fairly customizable, and it's got sort of a cute animation when you tap or swipe the page to turn the page. It's relatively new in one of the recent updates. When you tap the top right of the screen, you can see the page is turned down here, and that bookmarks the page, so you can come back to it any time. Stanza also, when you quit the app, remembers what page you're on, so you sort of know, flipping through to try to find where you were last. Also, sort of a neat feature that's unique to ebooks is if you tap and hold a word, you get this screen, which lets you define the selected word or add a notation annotating the book in that spot. Now, to get books, Stanza has a built-in online catalog that lets you purchase books from a variety of booksellers, including our very own O'Reilly. And you can also download free public domain books, mostly classics, or you can copy ebook files or PDFs from your computer, and that's pretty easy to do. Now, the one thing that you can't do with Stanza, unfortunately, is read books that you buy at Amazon. I'll get to that in a second, but let me just sort of pause here and prompt you guys just to say whether or not you think this is a useful app that you'd consider downloading, yes or no. Just give you a couple more seconds to do your thing. While you're doing that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say, so if you people have joined after we explained how to do this, we're using the feedback feature, and we want you to vote yes or no on this using the feedback feature. It's a little graph on the Mac side, and on the Windows machine, it's a question mark thing. So we're voting on Stanza?
That's right, voting on Stanza. Just a simple yes or no, you like it or you don't, useful or not.
Okay. Does it work with Safari books? I think Safari has its own reader.
Yeah, it works with a variety of, with sort of all the major book formats. The reason it doesn't work with Kindle books is not because it doesn't work with the Kindle format, but because it doesn't work with Amazon's copy protection, which sort of earns Amazon's Kindle app an honorable mention. It's not as good of a reader as Stanza, but it's the only app that you can use to read books that you purchase at Amazon on your iPhone. It's a fine reader. It's just not quite as good as Stanza. Also, I just wanted to give a shout out to Eucalyptus, which is a gorgeous reader. If you care about, if someone who cares about typography or the presentation of text, it's really something to behold. Two downsides to it. It's pricey at $10, while the other two are free. And it also can only read books from the Gutenberg Project, Project Gutenberg, which is a giant archive of thousands of public domain books, again, mostly classics. But if you're reading those, it's really a terrific experience. Let me move on from there. I guess, Catherine, we can clear the votes on Stanza.
Got it.
And take you to Instapaper. So another great way to, in terms of sort of reading to fill your time when you're bored, is to read those web pages and online articles that you didn't have time to read earlier. So Instapaper is an ideal app for that, and really, to be honest, it may just very well be my very favorite app for the iPhone. It works with the online service at instapaper.com, and you go there to get a free account. And from there, whenever you're using your browser, either on your iPhone or on your desktop computer, you click a bookmark link to add a page to your Instapaper account. So it's just one click, and boom, Instapaper has it. So if you don't have the time or attention to read a web page in the moment, you just click it and Instapaper hangs on to it for you. So the next time you launch the app, your articles are there waiting for you to read. And after the app downloads them, it keeps them stored on your phone, so you can after that read them when you're offline, which is great, plane or a subway commute, for example. Also, when you go to read one of the articles, here a Malcolm Gladwell article, it strips out all of the design of the web page and all the ads, and so you have a really stripped down, just the text, get right to it thing. And again, for longer articles, just like Stanza and the book readers, Instapaper saves your spot in the article if you have to slip away, you get a phone call and come back later. I think it's terrific. But I hope you do too. If you want to take a vote now and let us know what you think.
So Instapaper lets everyone take a vote now on if you think it's... where to vote? People are asking. We're using the feedback feature, and on the Mac it is a little graph above the chat window, and between the participants panel and the chat panel, and on Windows it's a little checkbox. So just yes or no. It's a quick count. Quick and unscientific.
All right. Let me just turn to news while we're on the topic of reading. USA Today doesn't exactly have a reputation for being either sort of the best news source in terms of either breadth or depth, but it turns out to be a great iPhone app for gathering the news, and so much of it has to do with its interface. Really an efficient, clever interface that makes it really easy to, at a glance, get a sense of what is happening in the world. You can customize what news shows up in the top news section, and again, across the bottom here, you can quickly get scores whether the pictures are really sort of a lovely presentation if you sort of want to just take a quick break and look at some remarkable examples of photojournalism. So USA Today turns out to be, again, a rather U.S.-centric, but a really terrific and efficient way to kind of get a quick glimpse of what the sort of general news landscape looks like. Do you guys want to take a vote on, or Catherine, you want to clear out our last?
Clear that out, and now we're voting on USA Today.
If you guys would download USA Today, give it a vote. And also, sort of while we're looking at that, just a few other news sources that have pretty terrific apps. Wall Street Journal it gives you their content for free, which you normally have to pay for online, and it has a really elegant interface and a bit maybe deeper news, particularly business news, of course, or news apps. AP Mobile is nice because it's very broad, and it lets you localize your content and choose content that is local to you and to your area. Fluent News is interesting because it actually gathers news from a bunch of different news sources and gives you sort of a broader sense of what the media are reporting on today. It's kind of an aggregate, so if you like to get your news with a variety of different voices, Fluent News is an interesting app. And like most news apps on the iPhone, all of these are free. Finally, just a pick for looking up your sports news when you get some downtime. Sportacular is fantastic for pulling together scores, game updates. You can follow your favorite team. There's also I believe it's $2, a pro version of the app that lets you get push notifications to sort of breaking news about your favorite team or game updates if you're following a specific game. Very cool. We'll go back to that actually. If you guys want to give that a vote if you think that would be useful. Yes or no on your feedback button. Again, this is for Sportacular. All right. While you're voting on that, let me just, we've been sort of looking at how you can use your downtime to sort of take in stories, get the latest news. And of course, there's several apps telling your own story or getting the stories of your friends. Facebook, it turns out, is actually, I believe, the most popular app on the iPhone. And if you're a Facebook fan, it gives you complete access to every aspect of your profile. It's very well done, very efficient, and you find out, look at your own profile, see what your friends are saying, and Patrick Swayze, rest in peace. All right, so if you guys want to vote on Facebook, if you think that that's a useful app that would fit your needs, give it a yes or a no. All right, and while you're looking at that, let me move on to Twitter. So there are a lot of Twitter apps, and this is usually a topic of hot debate for Twitter fans, or which Twitter client is the best. There are a number of really terrific options. Push comes to shove, my recommendation is an app called Twitterific, which I think is great because it's easy to use for newcomers to Twitter, but also has a lot of power features for more advanced users. You can have multiple accounts, and it gives you, in particular, really clever, elegant ways to deal with the individual tweets or the information inside them. So here, for example, if you select a tweet here by just tapping it, you can then get a lot of options for things to do with it. You can see information about the author, you can reply to the author, retweet the tweet, mark it as favorite, email it, a lot of sort of very quick options to do something with the selected tweet. Likewise, if you tap and hold a URL, so again in that same Best iPhone Apps tweet, there's a URL there, and if you were to tap and hold it, you get options for a variety of things of what you might want to do with it. If you want to open it in the apps browser within the app, we'll go to Safari to open it, just copy it, or add it to Instapaper, which we've already covered. It's a really well-rounded selection of features there. And again, if you're adding a tweet, a bunch of sort of elegant little things. An address book there gives you access to your followers and the people you're following, so you can send a reply or a direct message quickly to someone. Tapping a camera lets you upload a camera. Upload a photo or a video to your tweets stream. Anyway, if you guys like Twitterific, give it a shout. Vote yes to vote it up, or no to vote it down. All right, feel free to continue voting on Twitter. I'm going to take you to one other sort of storytelling app, I'll call it. And Whirl very specifically markets itself as a way to tell stories, which basically lets you upload photos or text messages about a specific event or place, and multiple people can collaborate on this. So when you first open Whirl, you see the screen here, which shows featured stories. You can go and look at what other people have uploaded, including people who are your friends. And then you announce where you are, and that's sort of how you start one of these, what Whirl calls a story. And several other friends who happen to be at the same location can also join your story. And from there, you can upload photos or images. So you see here sort of a news feed view of what people have added to this collection, this story. Some of them are text and some of them are photos. And the result actually turns out to look a bit like a silent movie, where you have a slideshow where one slide will be a photo, the next will be a text message, and it's a way to capture an outing or wherever your adventures are as you're out and about with your pals. There are actually a lot of really sort of creative and often hilarious slideshows. When you're done, you can post it to Facebook or Twitter, and the slideshow winds up on the web, sort of as an archive of things that you can do with it. It's sort of a combination of Twitter and maybe Flickr, but in a way that you can collaborate and really share experiences with other people through your phone. All right, so vote it up if you think that that's useful, or vote it down if if you don't. All right. A couple other things that are kind of fun to do when you're bored is to actually get creative. Bebot is my favorite app for creating music, sort of a casual music app. And it's frankly adorable. The kids, when they try it, they love it. You just swipe your finger across the screen, and it animates this robot in this kind of crooning little voice, and it's super cute. But behind the cuteness, it's actually got a really sophisticated synthesizer, which you can control and give a whole variety of theremin effects. And so if you're a musician or a sound enthusiast, it's something that actually turns into quite a remarkable instrument. So it's something that it looks like a toy, but underneath the hood, it's this really uniquely iPhone-y instrument that's a really fun way to make music and sound. If you think that's useful, then give it a vote. All right, while you're voting for Bebot, I'm going to move along to brushes. Another way to sort of express your creativity while you've got some downtime is to draw or sketch. There are a number of drawing and sketching apps on the App Store. Brushes is, I think, the best, mainly for its simplicity. As you see here, one of the artists who've contributed some of the sample shots to brushes can really create some pretty sophisticated things. Brushes got some notoriety a few months ago when an artist created a New Yorker cover for the New Yorker magazine using brushes. It's really simple, and it lets you zoom in so you can work pixel by pixel. You can also choose a variety of colors and transparencies, and you're just drawing with your finger as you go. It's a great little sketch pad. One of the cool things about how to choose a color, since this is a bit clumsy whenever you want to choose a color, is you can just sort of press and hold your finger where you want to grab it, and then your brush changes to that color. If you think brushes is useful, vote it up. All right, while you're voting on brushes, let me just mention a few camera apps too. These are, I think, super useful, especially Camera Zoom, which you can really use as a replacement for the built-in camera app even. It lets you, of course, the iPhone's camera is fixed dimension. All the photos are the same size. And there's no zoom. Camera Zoom fakes it a little bit by essentially letting you crop and compose the image there. It's still the same image quality, but it lets you frame by pinching the screen to choose what you want to include in the finished photo. If you zoom in too much, you'll actually get a relatively grainy photo because, again, it's not an actual lens. It's just faking it digitally. Pano is a fun app that lets you build panoramic photos. Again, it's a replacement essentially for the built-in camera app. You stitch together photos side to side to build a panoramic photo. Super easy to use with great results. Postino is fun and kind of unusual because it lets you actually mail physical postcards using using photos from your library that you take in the moment. So when you're at the beach there in the Mediterranean, you can snap a photo and send it off to your jealous friends back home. And 2 or 3 days later, they'll get a physical postcard. The app is free, and it costs around like $2 or so to send a postcard anywhere in the world. All right, so that was sort of a roundup of apps to use when you're bored. But one of the other aspects of how the iPhone is really, I think, changing the way we think about computing is sort of scratching the itch for when you're local, which is to say that you want some information that's really specific to where you are or an activity that you're doing, a sort of a state of mind. Nothing is more urgent, of course, than the situation where you just can't hold it. And of course, if you're out and about, you got to go. Sit or squat will tell you where the closest public bathrooms are. And not only that, it will actually give you ratings and photos. So, if you have to go, but you don't have to go so bad that you can afford to be a bit discerning, without sit or squat and find a bathroom near you. Now, this is all community provided, so of course it works best in larger communities or places where it just happens that people have contributed their restroom reviews. But you can also contribute your own, so it's a community deal. Helps with clean bathrooms. Give it a try. If you think that's useful or fun, load it up. All right, while you're looking at that, feel free to continue voting on Sit or Squat. It'll take us to ATM Hunter. This is another case, a very focused app, which is just, don't need cash. And ATM Hunter, which is built by MasterCard, does just a very simple job of showing you where the closest cash machines are. You can also filter by your bank name if you want to avoid extra charges for out-of-network fees. And you can also choose a variety of different characteristics like drive-through or handicap accessible and so forth. If you think ATM Hunter is helpful, look it up. All right, let me move on to the next thing, which is not so much, sort of location-specific, but sort of activity-specific. And this is one thing where the iPhone is, of course, really useful. Just to, again, you've always got, a computer in your pocket. What the font for designers, for example, is great. It lets you take a picture of any text and then identify the font. So here is a photo, and actually even a kind of blurry photo of a book cover. You just drag your finger across the text you want to identify, and it shows you what font it is. So again, it's an example of an app that's super specific to your context of, I'm out and about, I want some information about this thing that's right in front of me right now. That's what the font, and vote it up if you think that that's something that you would use.